I'm looking at a 2-3 year graph of the S&P, and I remember at the end of 2017 and in January 18, do you remember that run-up? Momentum players jumping on this market. Hey, FOMO, I'm not missing out on this. I have my trigger, when I'm going to sell out. And we saw what happened at the end of February of 2018. And I'm just a little bit worried that this is becoming a momentum-driven market at this point. You don't know how far it'll go. Certainly no sign of a break right now, but I think we have people jumping on the train here and are going to ride it on a narrow path until they feel that they've got some good gains.
So you're worried that some of this exuberance could be starting to get a little irrational? Is that fair to say?
Well, we're fully valued. I mean, the whole market is not like anything crazy. I mean, we're nowhere near 2,000 or anything like that. We got 20 times earnings on the S&P. In a low interest rate world, that's fine. It certainly is not cheap, and it's more expensive than we've had during, almost all the last 10 years. But right now, I see that momentum play that getting me a little bit worried. Again, long-term investors, I don't say, keep your positions, but I don't see this sort of run, continuing certainly throughout 2020 and maybe not even through the quarter.
What's driving it, Professor? Is it all about the Fed? Is it partly on fundamentals?
Well,
is it a combination of both?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think actually the backing away of the risk in Iran looks like, hey, maybe Trump has a little, credibility here. He's actually moved up in the polls. Republicans have done a little bit better, a little less fear of that situation. The Fed obviously reversing last October and open market purchases to eliminate any problem in the repo market. The repo market has been very quiet. They did year-end perfectly. The liquidity is therefore back in the market. So, that's sort of the blue sky. Hey, there's nothing to worry about now. I'm going to run this train as far as I can. Again, these type of markets do generate into momentum-driven markets. You can have them on the downside as well as the upside. It's something to keep your eye on. I'm a little bit worried that if it continues much longer that, something will puncture it and people will get off the train. But, again, long-term investors should be okay with this market. Short-term traders, if you got a tight range, play this. But as we saw what happened in January of 2018, boy, when you get off that train, wow, it falls quickly.